Islam, 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 Moorish America. Want to rise upon the seven and give all praises to the great God, Allah, Father God, Allah, and honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Al Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. But let us come forth with our ancient committee and adept Moorish American prayer. And as we come forth, we ask that you open up your hearts and minds as we open up the way. Islam, Islam, Islamism. Ya Allah abnu heru makunet heru. Ya Allah abhed heru. Ya Allah ma'at heru. Ya Allah hutep heru. Ya Allah heru. Ya Allah ma'at herakuti. Ya Allah ahwajet the duty. Ya Allah perdim to take perdim heru. Ya Allah bamaduti. Al hajat shepsis rab to Ali. I mean, Halias, Halias, Halias. And that is to say Moorish kin in transliteration. O Allah, the Father of the universe. O Allah, the Father of love. O Allah, the Spirit of truth. O Allah, the Spirit of peace. O Allah, the Spirit of freedom. O Allah, the Spirit of justice. O Allah, you are my protector. O Allah, you are my guide. O Allah, you are my salvation by night and by day. O Allah, through your holy prophet. O Allah, Drew Ali. Amen. Aliyassa, Aliyassa, Aliyassa. Islam, Moorish kin. And now we come forth before you with the divine constitution of Moorish America. Salvation, our God, unity. The seven supreme constitutional acts of law. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of Moorish America empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of Moorish America. The assisting Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs, if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the citizens of Moorish America. The Bylaws, Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly, according to the Circle 7, in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh. On a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all citizens of Moorish America. No citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you're part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. No organization of Moorish America is to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality in the divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of the said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live in the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali the Prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All citizens must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of Moorish America. Moorish Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of Moorish America, and then you're entitled to the name of faithful, husband, You must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, peace and blessings be upon him, founding father and framer of the divine constitution and bylaws of Moorish America. And now that this meeting has been opened according to the Triune Acts 1, 2, and 3 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, we say Islam, Islam, Islamism. The providence of Allah is ever all his works. He ruleth and directed with infinite wisdom. He hath instituted laws for the government of the world. He hath wonderfully varied them in all beings, in each by its nature, conforming to his will. Islam, peace and love, Moorish King.
Islam, Islam, Islam. I am the National Grand Secretary of the State of Muted. The sign not muted is there. And I would like to rise, giving perfect praises to our Father God, Allah, and the highest honors to our Holy Father, Ali. Honors to our theocratic Moorish American government. Honors to our Grand National Seal, our Grand National Emblem, and our Grand National Flag. Honors to all of Act 1, and honors to all of you for being here in our Moorish Perspective class, and also gratitude to our National Assistant Grand Chief, Dr. Shedu Aminti and Mohebi Sheikh, for opening up the way according to law. Islam, Islam, Islam. Chapter 46, Holy Instructions for Thy Children. Consider thou art a parent, the importance of thy trust, the being thou hast produced, it is thy duty to support. Upon thee also it dependeth whether the child of thy bosom be a blessing or a curse to thyself, a useful or a worthless member to the community. Prepare him early with instruction, and season his mind with the maxims of truth. Watch the bent of his inclination. Set him right in his youth, and let no evil habit gain strength with his years. So shall he rise like a cedar on the mountain. His head shall be seen above the trees of the forest. A wicked son is a reproach to his father, but he that doeth right is an honor to his gray hairs. The soil is thy own. Let it not want cultivation. The seed which thou sowest, that also shalt thou reap. Teach him obedience, and he shall bless thee. Teach him modesty, and he shall not be ashamed. Teach him gratitude, and he shall receive benefit. Teach him charity, and he shall gain love. Teach him temperance, and he shall have health. Teach him prudence, and fortune shall attend him. Teach him justice, and he shall be honored by the world. Teach him sincerity, and his own heart shall not reproach him. Teach him diligence, and his wealth shall increase. Teach him benevolence, and his mind shall be exalted. Teach him science, and his life shall be useful. Teach him religion, and his death shall be happy. Islam, Islam, Islam. Today is June 3rd, 2023, and welcome again to another Moorish Perspective class sponsored by our Moorish American government. Our host instructor is our National Assistant Grand Chief, Dr. Shedu Aminti and Mohebi Sheikh, with our topic coming out of our new chapter of the week, Chapter 46, Ayat 7. The soil is thy own. Let it not want cultivation. The seed that thou sowest, that also shalt thou reap. Gratitude to our National Assistant Grand Chief for opening up the way according to law, and also gratitude to the National Grand Secretary of the state of Indiana, Dr. Saad Nasimu Hedley L., for taking registration and also reading the chapter of the week. More can kindly check your emails, and also keep your pens and papers on hand. This will be greatly appreciated. At this time, we'll call to the floor our host instructor, our National Assistant Grand Chief, Dr. Shedwa Minty and Mohaji Shasuel. Islam, Grandman. Unmuted.
Islamism, can you hear me, sis?
Islamism. Clear as a bell. Peace and love.
Gratitude, peace and love. Islamism without the schism. But let us rise again upon the seven and give all praises to the great God, Allah, our Father God, Allah, and honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Al-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal. We give honors to our Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution, and bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything that our holy prophet brought to make us a nation. I want to give honors to everything it is that has brought us here in this new era and time. Praise be to Allah, Islamism without the schism. Powerful, powerful measure brought forth from the treasures. Want to give honors to this chapter that we have for the week in reference to dealing with a holy instruction for thy children. This is the grand key. These are holy instructions. So that means that these young seeds can't come up no other way than being holy or hallowed, so to speak, right? And so actually the grand drawing lies in where it deals with Ayat 1, where it says, consider thou a parent, and the importance of thy trust, the being thou hast produced, it is thy duty to support. So we already know this goes in line with, our chapters. And this also goes in line with the subject matter that we had to bring forth. Very powerful drawing, family, if we embrace that. Our Ayat 7 is the key that we're focusing on. The soil is thine own. Let it not want cultivation. The seed which thou sowest, that shall thou also reap. That's a powerful demonstration. You always hear older ancestors say, you reap what you sow. You see? But if you do everything that's necessary, you ain't got to worry about that. Everything will fall into place like it's destined to fall into place. So if the soil is thine own, that means that you can't plant your seed in nobody else's soil. Neither can they plant their seed in your soil. All you can do is worry about, again, your special point. This soil is symbolic to a university of learning, so to speak. You got all the materials, all that is necessary in order for you to build a whole nation. If you would but take it and save yourself. Prophet Noble Drew Ali told us he brought us everything. And I do mean everything that it takes to save a nation. All we got to do is take it and save ourselves. So this is a powerful drawing, family. We should take this thing to heart. You see, this is what we talk about when we speak on the maximums of truth. This is what we speak of when we talk about functioning on all points. You see, all of these are the Sabbath teachings of our ancestors coming straight out of Kemet. Want to say Islam to our family as well, Sister Janet Wooten Bay. Brother Darvis Baylock, Charles Warrior, honors to all of you, family. This is a powerful demonstration because if we don't teach the young generation, as they would say, teach the old and the young shall follow in shame. If we don't teach the young and not yet born, if we're not here for the third and fourth generation, we know 3 and 4 is 7, then what are we here for? You know, I'm just speaking in general. You know, this is a powerful, powerful draw. Our minds have to be for the same cause and efforts have to be toward the same goals. This is very important. So, more, I like to use the term Young Moorish American National because that removes all the gender. So when we deal with these holy instructions, they're not just for the young male seed, but they're also for our young female goddesses. It don't get no plainer than this. It don't get, no out. Man, I mean, where you gonna get the lesson from? That's what I want to know. Outside of Moorish American teaching it, because don't nobody else care like we do. Don't nobody love on their people like the Moorish American Muslim love on their people, family. I'm telling you. So we got work to do. We got the toil in that soil of the soul, that beneath the rocky soil of the soul, and we got to pull out greatness. That's what we're being challenged to do in this new era and time. We are the greatness. We are the greatest because we won with the greatest. Did I say the great God Allah? Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. So, oh yeah, this is going to be a powerful draw. We already know by the sun striking, the surface of the earth, this is just as the truth itself strikes to the heart and the core of every Moorish American Muslim. We got a lot of work on the manifest. Ain't nowhere in the world that somebody should be lacking in this new era in time. Because you have it all. Unless you believe what somebody else told you, unless you believe that that's not the case. Remember, our power extends back to our ancient foremothers and forefathers and mothers, so to speak, right? So we have to look at all of this. And if this is so, ain't nobody able to debunk that. We are the living proof that we are children of the great God Allah. You would often hear our people being referred to as the children of the sun. This is our people. Who else best fit this description other than us? We already know the pale man can't stay out there in that sun too long. Or else, it's going to be some type of consequences and repercussion when one got to pay. So, yeah, this is grand, family. This is grand. So the key to this special drawing is becoming a master cultivator of the soil. We got to know how to till the soil, family. We got to know the nature of the soil. Because sometimes that soil can trick you. Just because, it look like dark soil don't necessarily mean it's good. You see, especially if it has other elements intertwined in it. Oh, yeah. So, it makes me reflect upon where we came from, where's the milestone in the journey along the race, so to speak. Like I say, Prophet Noble Drew Ali told the Moors this is enough work for all to do. So we ain't got no business be going back over no kibbles and bets. Because we ain't animals anyway. Yeah, so praise be to Allah. This is a grand drawing, family. This is a grand drawing. How much is it that we have to offer? How well do we know our soil before we begin to drop the seed into that demonstration? How well do we know the soil? Have we tilled the ground to make sure, everything unfolds smoothly? We just got to, ask ourselves this question. Now, I love the way that our Moorish Holy Quran emphasizes exactly what needs to be emphasized on its own without having to look for these measures. It's all there. Yeah. So many of our people never heard anything about a government. Many of our people haven't heard anything about the seal when it comes to dealing with, when it comes to dealing with what it is that our prophet brought us. Each and every one of us have a talent that we were given. And if we lack knowledge, of that special talent, then we're not doing our work well enough when it comes to dealing with a study of the self. You see? So we should know ourselves, especially better than we know anybody else outside of the self. You see? This is what we're pointing out. If we don't know ourselves, we can't be a good husband or good wives. Our sisters can't be good wives, like the brothers can't be good husbands. You see? It has to be a meiotic balance. Remember, the soil is thine own. Your soil is your own. So don't let it be wanting in cultivation. You see? Yeah, this is a powerful demonstration. But if you notice, it follows on and we learn how one is to be taught obedience, taught gratitude. One is to be taught on many different levels in order for them to be functioning at maximum efficiency. So now they can begin to teach others. This is the each one teach one demonstration, right? Man, that's powerful. All of these chapters that we have are lined up in such a way to by the time we get here, we already ready for the Sabate teachings are, the full measure that is to unfold. Man, all I can say is this is most definitely the love of a nation. Remember, I was saying earlier in our earlier class, you can't be what you're not. We got a lot of work to do, Morris Ken. I'm going to keep reiterating that. I hear people asking about the plan and when this going to happen, when that's going to happen in the law's own time. We have to wonder because we already know them hands on the clock are symbolic to where our people are along the way. So we got to be careful. You see? Man, it's an honor to be able to have a prophet. It's an honor to be able to have a grand national seal, grand national emblem, constitution and bylaws. Everybody can't say that they have that. And we know this to be a fact, family. Everybody cannot say that they are, unfolding even from the embryo state standpoint. Wow. So there's a reason why I said we teach the young, the old should follow in shame. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said he came for the young and not yet born. So if this is the case, again, this is what our focus should be. And if we begin to focus in this particular area, then we will begin to uplift that nation that our people have been waiting on, that proverbial 144,000, the return of the ancient ones. You see, and we can go on these different titles that have been, given to us as a people. One minute they call us Negro, next minute we were colored, we were black. And as we emphasize now everybody, adios. African descendants of slave, or American descendant. This is something else here. We got a lot of work to do. I'm gonna say that again. You got to bring all your tools to the manifest, because we got to build this temple of perfected man in perfection. So it's time for us to start mining to find everything it is Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought us. You see, I never known Prophet Noble Drew Ali to be a liar and gonna tell you something just to be saying it. If he tell you something, you can believe that his vibration, has already been put out there in the ethers. And so those things will come to pass, because this is the nature of a true prophet. He's known by his marks, by intellect, but it's not limited to that, right? So our question we have to ask, well, what is it that we are trying to build on the individual as well as the collective level? Do you know that all it takes is us being on the same page and on one accord in order for us to truly gain that control that most of our people are out here seeking? It's a simple process in order to make progress in this special area. But you got to teach the babies, though. You got to teach them and prepare them so that they can be the one that come up and fill in, for us. This is powerful. Another measure. You can't circumscribe our ancestors nor us with time. We are way more grounded than that. It may take a little longer for our people to get it, but they're going to get it, because we're going to make sure we get it, because we're going to use that hammer of repetition every chance we get. We're going to make sure we pound these lessons in and make them a part of every other part. Yeah. I know we got a lot of trying times ahead of us. And a lot of this is due to disobedience to the higher dictates of life. We got a lot of work to do, Morris Ken. So I hope we got our tools sterilized. I hope we got our tool belt on. And I hope that's exactly what we plan to do. Get the job done. Get some work done. If not us, then who? We done seen everybody else come with everything they thought they had. We seen them all. And none of them have freed our people as a people. So I think we should study on our own time and own term the nature of soil, and when you plant a seed into the soil, what take place. Because nobody knows the potential of that seed until that seed has fully come forth, from beneath the surface. All we know is that, okay, this is a seed that's being planted. But we don't know the ins and outs about this until we begin to contemplate thy frame, contemplate the self. See how fearlessly and marvelously that one is made. Man. Yes, we definitely got to be on the front line with it, no doubt. So, I mean, it ain't really a whole lot that need to be said. It's a whole lot that need to be done, though. So, as our brother Shatat used to say, get in where you fit in. Only you know where you are along the way. It's not the job of anybody else to hold our hands, when we can demonstrate that measure, for self. We got a whole generation of wealth right here, family. And we don't even know how to tap into the reservoir of all of that wisdom. That's something else. It's not because the knowledge is not there. It all has to do with a lack of thought activity. That's why Prophet Noble Drew Ali say, Moors, if I can just get you to think, then you will save yourselves. That's right. Took you out of the realm of spookism, took you out of the church, took you out of the mosque and the synagogues and so forth and so on. Some of our people still longing, to go back to Kemet, go back to that symbolic Egypt, just like the Israelites. But this, again, is something that one must really embrace, in order to come to the clear drawing that everything that happens or befalls upon us come from the great God Allah. He the best of knowers. And he's working through us. Remember, we are the conduits through which that divine energy travels. It's a lot to be brought to the table. What is it that we have to offer to the young seed? What is it that we have to offer to the young generation? Or have we fallen victim to that Willie Lynch syndrome? Because that was the plan. If so, that's like 100% reality, family, that we are destined as a nation to be a nation of elevation, because that's why the prophet was named the Most High. Despite what we think we know, despite what we think that we have accomplished, how much of that has been a measure to bring the grand man to the forefront, to bring the government to the forefront. We got work to do. And we on our own time. So time never was when man was not. You see? Time never was when man was not. So man was always present, and therefore he had to be thinking, because man means thinking, i.e. mind. Man. The whole structure of a nation or the family unit, it always starts at home. You keep hearing us say this right here. And then it spreads out and moves abroad. You got to build your home first before you can build anything else. You see? All we have to do is embrace our destiny, embrace our mission statement. We were given a mission statement now. We took a sacred vow before we came into the plane of things made manifest that we was going to be here aiding and assisting, and uplifting fallen humanity. That's a sacred vow, not an oath. You ain't swear to nobody. You vowed to your higher self on what you was going to demonstrate before you even come into the manifest facts. So if that don't show that you've been here before, you the return of the ancient one, I don't know. So It's just a grand drawing, Moorish kin, to come out of Eurocentric mythos that our people been trained to embrace. It seems like it's almost easy for us to embrace our indoctrination rather than embrace the reality of what is going to make us the true executive rulers to our people. Some of our people don't want to be on the front line. They don't want to be out there demonstrating. You know, I don't know if they might be in a state where they just don't have them in them to fight no more, whatever the case may be, because some of our people, you know, they ain't got no more fight in them. They done been beat down so bad, they don't even want to talk nothing about uplifting fallen humanity. They'll rather demonstrate what they like to call today edutainment and get the, oh man, I ain't even got to say it. Y'all already know how it go. You know, so main thing it is, like I said earlier, we got work to do, and it's enough work for all to do. That's what Prophet Noble Drew Ali said. Not me. I'm just quoting it. Well, all I can say is, and this is another thing too, when we talk about the soil, I always like to emphasize, family, that sometimes it's meant for us to plant the seed and somebody else come behind us to water the seed. Somebody else come behind us, you know, to make sure they nurture that demonstration. That's just the way it goes. Right now, they got the European, I don't know about nowhere else, but they stir it up down here. They gonna open carry, you know, and you already know the way the system is. Our people done been put in a position to where they can't even discipline. When I say discipline, I ain't talking about the way the slave master discipline. But you know, they can't even correct their youngin without being referred to as a toxic parent. But yet when they get out of line, having no home training because they wasn't allowed to be taught in the home, they was oh man. Yeah, it's terrible, you know. It's a lot going on. So we have to be on the front line. We the vanguard, family. So we have to send those reinforcements because that's who the youth are. These the young seed. These are the reinforcements. The first line of defense, actually. They come to reinforce everything that has been placed within themselves. If not you, then who? We got to ask ourselves that question. Man, it's nation time. It's time to build. Everything else is outside of the law as far as we are concerned. The more you grow, the more you know, and the more you know, the more you grow, family. So are we placed here to progress? Because we have, remember, unlimited capacity for progress. Are we here to progress as a people? Or are we just existing? And we content with that? I want to ask that question. Right? And we don't have to answer it out loud. We can just reflect upon it, ponder upon that special demonstration. These are some powerful measures. So I want to know, what is the quality of your soil, family? What is the quality of your soil? That's what I want to ask. Is it high quality? Is it low quality? Is it in between? Let us know. when we begin to build and really bring everything, to the level par excellence, everything it is that we have been called to do. Once we begin to do that special work, everything that we have been seeking, or everything we seek, is going to come directly to us. We don't even have to chase that demonstration down. It's going to be a natural measure on all levels of life. So we have no time to be taken from our family. While when we look at them and the young sees that their bread is being eaten by another, that's a sad case. But it's the truth. We got to speak the truth now. We got to speak the truth. Very powerful. So we have to ask ourselves, okay, if, an apple seed come from an apple tree, then we already know what this is. We can go all the way down the line. So if you came from God, then what that make you then? Because we ain't going to move the goalposts. What does that make you? If you came from the great God, from the heart of the great God. Yeah. I can tell you this right here, time wait for no man, family. And whatever we instill in the young, they will bring it forth in tenfold. I hear our family often say that, we running out of time, or the brother Bachi Baba said, the hourglass done already ran out of time. We ain't got no more time for sport and play. It's do or die at this special measure. Do it or meet your demise, and we ain't the one that's gonna be bringing it to you. It's those, who we actually been praising. I mean, it's a lot behind it, but it ain't really complex. It's really just boiled down to get free. Let's get free. You see? Let's use our expertise to promote our well-being. Because whatever we instill in the young, that's the whole measure. We got to place security on what we love. Not just mere lip service, but real love being demonstrated. I just want to give honor to my Moorish kin on the front line that's fighting the good fight to uplift fallen humanity, uplift our people. Yeah. So study, family, study and study. You got to. If not, you can't give your seeds what you don't have. We can't give them what you don't have, family. If you got it, you shouldn't be holding them back. You got to give it to them. If you don't, then somebody else gonna poison them, poison the soil, so to speak. So we got to be on point about all of that. You know what I'm gonna do? Because it ain't really a whole lot that need to be said. We already know. I want to hear from my Moorish kin. We're gonna open up the floor a little early tonight. This is the Moorish perspectives after all. Can you Moors give us some grand insight in regards to dealing with this special measure, dealing with the holy instruction for young men, Moorish American nationals? Is there anyone that is here that is willing to stand on everything it is we stand on? If you are *6 your phone, Morris Ken, if you're ready to exercise your fire. Islam. Islam. That brother Marvin Elbow Bay? Okay, I can hear you now, Grand Man. You kind of muffled a little bit there.
Yeah, I'm traveling right now.
Okay.
I'm traveling right now. But it's
Islam is
rise of the better place to allow how to the prophet, how to start the government. I want to talk to our flag, on the Brown Constitution, also saying this bucket. Citizens like how to tell the boys that spoke before me, all the ones that listened to chapter, all those who had a hand in thinking about the stand. I'll let you for this class. And definitely, when it comes down to distinction being a thing, you know, it may seem like there's a lot to it, but it's really not. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than us building how you build a household. It's the same thing, but we got to think for us. What are we going to do for us? Who's in your natural vicinity, your vicinity right now that is going to aid and assist you in coming together? What talents does the person next to you have? Who do you constantly call? Who do you constantly talk to? And talents that you can corral together. It's not even necessarily having a talent, but who has the ability to who has something going on that you can get your way in. I see these Europeans at my job, right? We do pipe laying and concrete. So there's one. He realized that if he does the decals for it, that he's gonna get cut. He's gonna get cut some bread from it from him making the decals for all the trucks. You see what I'm saying? So the owner he buys the trucks, but he puts the decals on them. So he found a route to aid and assist, but to also, you know what I'm saying, be more fruitful in that situation. That's the same thing when we look at each other and we look at the businesses or whatever, or what we're trying to do. Who's next to you that you can get in there, that you can corral together, and then eventually stack up money and buy some land and do some building with. You know what I'm saying? And this is one of the things that I've been trying to advocate for even here, is to get people together, you know, when we're looking at the essential things. Because the Negro, you are no longer black. There ain't nobody gonna do that. It's us and the mind frame that we have. When are you gonna tired of it? When are you gonna stop or be tired of being called NBC? When are you gonna be tired of the police coming and shooting young people down? When are you gonna get tired of paying the police to shoot your people down? When are you gonna get tired of the redlining to where you can't get a home with the same type of credit others there that are more to the system? You know what I'm saying? So we have our own, we are $1.something trillion that we have streaming power. Well, why can't everybody literally on that alone, if we just focus on all people, everybody will be rich overnight. There's only 60 million of us over here. So if every one of us open a different avenue, 60 million, everybody will still get $1 million.
Islam, Brother Bati Bey. We give honors to you, brother, for that grand measure. You know, a lot of our people don't know that we have everything it takes to save a nation. And all we have to do is take it and save ourselves. People don't know that when it comes down to dealing with, you know, even the criteria for statehood, if you go back to 1933 and what they called the Montevideo Convention on the Rights and Duties of States, you know, they set out only 4 criteria for statehood. You know, and in that article, Article 1 of that particular convention, it provides that the state, as a person of international law, you have to actually become what you call an international personality. You know, this is one of the things you got to demonstrate. You got to think on international level. You got to go beyond up the street, around the corner. But those 4 qualifications deal with permanent population, you know, defined territory, government, and the capacity to enter relations with other states. And a lot of people don't know there are different degrees of what we call recognition, being recognized. A lot of people don't even know that. You see, one aspect would say, well, you have to be recognized in order to be a nation. Then another aspect say, if you become a nation and you act as such, you already are a nation. So what are you waiting on? What are you waiting for somebody like you say to say, you know, you free now? Didn't they do that in 1865? We already got the permanent population. Look at the census numbers on our website. That's the permanent population. Notice it's a permanent population. Permanent as in you here to stay. You got some staying power, because ain't no saving power without no staying power. You can't be a permanent population when one minute you want to be a Moorish American Muslim and next minute you want to be a Negro, so-called black man, so-called colored man. You know, and then defined territory, we already know occupied America belonged to us. So we call it Moorish America. So we have the defined territory. But if you don't want to call it that and you want to be everything other than that, then it makes it seem like it's some confusion going on. Somebody confused. But if it's clearly defined that this territory is Moorish American territory, then what else are people looking for? Because ain't nowhere in there tell you got to squat on nobody's land, go up in no European court. None of that ain't got nothing to do with you being a nation. It don't say that. The 4 criteria is permanent population, the defined territory, government, and the capacity to interrelation with other states. So really, we should be studying, you know, to become more proficient in the capacity to enter in relation with other states. Because this is not where you just get in here and you talk about, you know, some type of religious gathering and a get together over here and a get together. No. Eventually, you got to do the thing that government do. You got to show that you can demonstrate. A state having a permanent population, they have to have that permanent population in order to exist and be acknowledged as such. You see? And everybody ain't got to even acknowledge you and accept you. Just by you acting as a government and being a government, that automatically gives you the rings of authority. That's why it says that the basis of the government is brought forth through the will of the people. Is there a unanimous will among our people to be free? You see? If not us, then who? We got to teach the young and not yet born. You see? Because there are a lot of loopholes that ones could use. You see? It ain't even a whole bunch when it comes to dealing with the number. Ain't no limitation. So not only do you need your defined territory, because that's what define you, that's what define us, Moorish American territory. It's also how we are represented physically on the maps and in diagrams. Show me a diagram where you got Negro Nation ruling. Show me a diagram where you got, what you want to call it, Black Nation ruling something in this new era in time. Show it to me. Goodness gracious. So, these are just things. So it's not hard to become who we are. We just got to embrace who we are and stop thinking that what we demonstrating is a sham. But you definitely have to have your own government. Do you know the difference between the continent of Africa is that you actually have nations that Africa is composed of as opposed to the United States of America? United States of America was founded by colonies, they say, right? But every state doesn't represent a nation in and of itself. They'll tell you they got their own little government to a certain degree, but they still all subject to federal jurisdiction. So what you look like going up in there, Moorish American National in somebody else's court, talking about you ain't got no jurisdiction over me. I wish you would lock me up. I'm sovereign. I own the land. Oh, man. So if you are unable to control your territory, if you don't have control and you can't show that you are the one who is truly given consent by birthright to govern, then what you think somebody else gonna do? If they see value in your land and value in you, and you don't see the value. You see? You're gonna be in a real bad situation, family. So yeah, we just gotta, be prepared to teach the young. So let me call forth my next Moorish kin at this time right here. Man, you got me stirred up. All right, star 6 your phone, Moor. Anybody else got something they want to say? Come forth and breathe some life into our Moorish kin. You got to recognize yourself before anybody else gonna recognize you. That's for sure. Islam. You mean to tell me we got Jimmy the Cricket up in here already? Can anybody hear me out there?
Yes, we hear. Can you hear?
Oh yeah,
hear
we
me?
hear you, Grand Man. Yes, sir. Yeah, we hear you, Grand Man. Go ahead.
Gratitude. Yeah, this is
Right.
Dr. Marvin Evans Bay, out of the Texas Consulate, rising, giving all praise to the great God Allah, giving highest honors to his prophet, our prophet Noble Drew Ali, El Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali. Give high honors to our theocratic government, our Moorish American government. Give high honors to our Act One. I give high honors to all of our officials. I give high honors to this class, our Moorish Perspectives class, as well as I give honors to you, Dr. Shedu Aminti Al-Mohiti Septuel, for hosting and instructing this most beautiful Moorish Perspectives class. I give honors to those that aided in bringing forth this class this evening, as well as I give honors to everything that is Moorish, our divine flag, divine constitution, our Holy Quran, our Book of Ali, our 101, 102s, our Exhuming of a Nation, all of our divine revelation I give honor. I give honor to the forerunner, Dr. Marcus Jose Gabriel, as well as I give honor to the ancestors whose shoulders we stand upon. We are the return of the ancient ones. Give honor to those that gave their measures before me and those that will give their measures after me. Okay, holy instructions for thy children. And you have here, the soil is thine own. Let it not want cultivation. The seed which thou sowest, that also shall reap. And you cover a lot of ground. I mean, you taught very well today. You know what I mean? I got a lot out of it. I did take down a couple notes. Um, you and plus you asked some questions. You know, you asked, okay, here it is. Are we here to progress? And I thought that was pretty unique. It's pretty straightforward, but you know what I mean? Then we have to look at progress, you know. And I know that there are those that are not in within the Morris American government, and they have an idea of progress, and the Morris have an idea of progress. Well, being a Morris American, to me, progress is keeping in line with why I'm put here, on this earth. I was put here to build the temple of perfected man. And that's on the spiritual side. And I know we have a physical side, and of course, as above, so below. And I hear my Morris Ken speak on that, and it's like there's supposed to be a certain degree of carnal progress, I guess you might put it. That's supposed to, man must see his God, so to speak. And that's all well and good, but, I know that we can have all of the carnal possessions, which many of our Moors already do. You know what I mean? But still don't know who made them. Still don't know that they had a prophet that came here, to save us from our sinful ways. When we look at ourselves as this physical being, then we kind of like, from my point of view, we kind of like miss the point. Because this carnal representation is a test. We are supposed to be the Lord of the plane of soul as well as the Lord of the plane of manifest. And I looked over, I reread some about the creation and fall of man. And, and we think about that soil, that seed that the husbandman threw forth his seed in, that in itself is part of creation, but we find ourselves here, in North America, having gone through slavery and all of that. And well, I say going through it, we experienced it on the for as physical shackles and what have you. And here today is what is the remnant of it, which is what the prophet called mental slavery. And it's a pretty tough position to hold, because you have to think about people. They they're not robots. You would think, but we're all, each and every one of us, whether we are in the government or haven't seen their way to the government, we're all in this together. And just like a lot of our scholars, have come before and brought a measure, brought an understanding. Just as many of our people today, in these organizations, I would think that they have honorable intentions, but we know that some of them not. You call them dirty Moors. But, really, this is a very powerful lesson. And to fully, gain the significance of it, you have to look at it from a Moorish perspective. With our brain, the Moorish perspectives. You know what I mean? This is where we can take account of what happened and take account of where we are, you know, and where we would like to be, you know. But, you know, the great God, Allah, sent us a prophet. You know what I mean? He brought us everything to save us as a nation. So if he brought us everything to save us as a nation, then being a nation should be top priority. Um, to me, it is. So, you know, but it comes in re-educating ourselves, re-educating each other, so to speak, aid and assist in that. And this is what our North American government is about, aiding and assisting our people to, we had a class yesterday, wake up, you know, because it's it's so easy to think that you're living in a reality, and it's really what we call Maya. It seems to be real, but it's not. You know what I mean? And if we're not looking at ourselves as spiritual beings, you know what I mean? How are we going to be able to control the physical? Because the spirit, Allah, controls everything. So we need to get in line with the great God. You know, and we got, in order to do that, we got to study. We have to know what happened. You know, I mean, we can think we know what happened because, you know, we watch TV, you know, movies and all the documentaries and what have you. But, you know, within our own family, we know that something traumatically happened to us as a people, you know. But, you know, and so I can go on incessantly about this because it's an ongoing thing and it's part of their life. It's part of my life. You know what I mean? It's, you know, part of my struggle. So I'm just as much in the fight as everyone else is. But I would just like to say that the Morris American government has the real answer to all of the I don't say so-called, but they are mysteries. The mysteries, you know, Egypt, mysteries of Egyptian, you know, our ancestors. Yeah, our ancestors looked out for us. You know what I mean? They kept truth, and the truth is the only thing going to set us free. And so I'm going to leave right there. And I know I may not have covered everything that I really wanted to, or hopefully I hit the topic somewhere close. But yeah, we are, the soil is thy own. Let it not want cultivation. The seed which thou sowest, that also shall reap. And that's one of those proverbs that you might call it. You know, even in Christianity, you know, you reap what you sow. And like you mentioned, Master and Sister Grand Sheep, yeah, our ancestors always said that you reap what you sow, most definitely. So we want to be about sowing that which is everlasting. I mean, that which is in tune with the everlasting, the great God Allah. And praise Allah for sending us a prophet to give us a roadmap. So we got everything we need to do. We just have to study. So gratitude, God, man, for allowing me to speak. Islam in peace and love.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. We see the vision, Grand Man. That's a powerful drawing. What we have to do is develop what is called an international legal personality. And this is referred to as ILP. In other words, we present ourselves as we are, a government, a nation. And once we begin to think again along the line of international legal personality, now the world begins to accept you as such. And our legal personality on the international scale is founded upon what it is we demonstrate at this level in the Moorish American government. Ain't nobody else doing that. They can claim all they want to. They government over here, they're a little clicker group now. It's only one that's actually recognized, that has the documentation that beat the conversation, so to speak. You see? And this is where you can begin to brush shoulders with other nations. You see, they have those who are referred to as non-state actors. And these are individuals that not directly are impacted by international law, but they limited it. You know, they can't demonstrate the ILP under human rights law. You know, these are people that have seats and just say, I got a seat at the UN. You can have a seat at the UN and just be sitting there basically observing. But when you have that international legal personality, that's what really get them to moving. And now you're able to enter into contract because people acknowledge your personality, your persona, so to speak. You see? This is powerful, family. This is powerful. A lot of people don't know the United States is really a non-state actor. You know, they ain't a real government. They are pretty much they are what you call a de facto government. They just claim the rights, you know, by basically taking it. And we're a government, and that's how they did it. You see? And once you become a nation, that's another thing. Even though the United Nations are not the people that are really recognized a nation, once you have been granted recognition, no one can ever revoke that. This is irrevocable. And this has already been given to us. We got the letter, you know, and everything that's written on it. They told us to go get our people. We already got the recognition. That's irrevocable. Can't nobody come behind that. That's international law, family. That's a part of the treaties or the pact that was made between the family of the nation and each other. You see? So this is the stuff we have to teach to the young and not yet born and prepare them to be the future guiders of the nation. Title to territory is about how states assert rights over land. You don't have to assert no rights over land because you already own it. And even rights at the sea are largely determined by rights over land. Even though in maritime law, what goes on in the land goes on in the land, and what goes on in the water goes on in the water. But whoever is the claimant, so to speak, and holding true title and holding in, you know, in the course of events, so to speak, this is where, you know, the possession and title itself, the territory becomes important in the context of law of the sea. You know, and I met, like I said, I was privileged to meet the world greatest treasure hunter. And we know one's definitely, they're going to try to have their way if you let them get a little leeway. Let's just say that. You often hear me use the term occupied America. You know, an occupation deal with when a state actually takes an area of territory and does things necessary to assert the title over that area. Establishment and operation of a Mufti force, they call them police, a military force, and so forth and so on. You know, so you got to demonstrate that you occupy this territory and you can assert your sovereignty in it. We ain't talking about from no individual standpoint, talking about you ruling from your bathroom in the kitchen somewhere. This is the fundamental way, though, of identifying the title to the territory. Simply being who you are. And we already have been acknowledged. So what else you want to do? Like the prophet say, kill him? Come on, man. You know, the way they did it in the past with annexation, you can't go out here trying to annex nothing. You know, especially when you ain't got no hind part back there. But that's a whole nother measure. We just got to enlighten our people and teach them, you know, what it is. We got to know what a succession it is. We got to teach the young that. So is there any other more who would like to come forth and exercise their fire? We trying to stir up the ethers over here. Islam.
Islam.
Islam, goddess and queen, what have you to say?
Islam, Dr. Benja Kurtabay. First, let me rise and give praises to our great God Allah. I give honors to our Holy Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to Act One. I give honors to all my government officials. And I give honors to you, National Sister Grand Chief, for this wonderful, wonderful class tonight. I'm on the conference call. I didn't have a chance to get on the panel, but nevertheless, I am here. And this is a powerful class that you got going on tonight. And I believe your question was you was asking who is willing to stand up for everything we stand for in this government. If I don't have it all correct, I think this kind of was the gist of it. And I'm willing. I am where I am willing 100% to stand for everything we stand for in this government, because you know why? Because I know we stand for the highest 5 principles in this land, which is love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I know that I'm willing, and you know what, Dr. Shaheed, what I notice about our people, they are not willing to submit to authority. You know, you talking about being a government and doing international business, which is so powerful that we got to learn. And I'm still unfolding in that area. But I tell you what, my cup is empty, and I submit to the authority who's over me, and I'm willing to learn, and I'm willing to go out there and do whatever I'm taught to do, and do it right. Got my prophet out front. I know as long as I keep him out front, he told me to imitate him, and he told me he would be the water when the fire comes. So I'm not afraid to get out there. I'm still, like I say, I'm still unfolding. And when you talk about we already done been recognized. What is it? That's one of my biggest things. What's wrong with our people? Except for some of these, like I say, some of them, they're not willing to submit to authority. And if you're going to be a government, you got to be willing to submit to authority, to the ones who's over you. You know, and it don't matter how old they are or whatnot, as long as they are following the great God Allah, as long as the great God Allah is using them and speaking through them, and as long as they got a prophet out front and doing what he said do, I don't have no problem with it. I don't have no problem with submitting to authority. And it's a whole lot more I can say but this is such a powerful class, Dr. National Assistant Grand Chief. And I can understand why when we went to the UN, they asked, what's the mindset of your people? We should have a mindset of unity, regardless of what you believe in. It ain't for one government. And family, y'all better realize that. It ain't for one government. That's the Moorish American government. All them other, they ain't nothing but organizations. Kevin had told you that one time. They ain't nothing but organizations. It ain't for one government. That's the Moorish American government. And you need to come up under this government and proclaim your free national name in the government in which you can live. This government right here. Are you willing to stand? I'm willing to stand, God, man. I'm willing to stand. Islam, gratitude. You got me fired up down here. Gratitude for letting me share. Peace and love.
Islam I told them to watch out, Sister Kurtabay. Goodness gracious. See, you said the key word. That's the thing. They scared of that word when you say obey. Even though now they be running around here talking about, I'm a governor. I'm obey. Well, obey means govern yourself. Like you say, and obedience is the first rung on the 12-step ladder. Now, if it's a 12-step ladder, now this should tell you, I don't know about nobody else, but me dealing with contract work, you know, I know good and well if I'm trying to get up into some heights that's beyond, a certain level that I'm at, and I need to get up. I got to use a ladder to get up there. And anybody that know anything about that type of stuff is, you got OSHA laws that regulate that. Let them come in there and see you trying to stand up on a bunch of crates, or stand up on a bucket. I don't care how short that demonstration is. One gonna look at you like you crazy. So we got a 12-step ladder for a reason in the Moorish American government. The first thing is obedience. In order you get all the way up the ladder, you got to step on the first one. You see, you're going to have a little difficulty in most cases trying to step beyond the first one. So you just might as well step on the first ladder, a rung of the ladder, and then you can ease yourself up rung by rung. But obedience is the first measure. Obey. Obey. Oh, governor, oh, God, man, govern yourself. Because you got to learn how to govern self before you can govern others. So we give honors to you, Grand National Secretary of the State of South Carolina. You hit the hammer on the nail again. I wish a member would. Goodness gracious. All right. Any other more who would like to come forward? We got plenty of time. Ain't no need in you being silent in them Moors. Since everybody got so much to say, where you at? Islam, goddess and queen.
Cena Renee Randall Bay. As I rise, I give praises and honors to Allah, the most merciful, the pinnacle of love. I give honors and gratitude to the Torah, El Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, also known as the last prophet, Noble Jawadi. I give honors to our Moorish government. I have gratitude for our Moorish government. Namaste to my Moorish kin here and this conference call, on this conference call. I want everybody to forgive me if I'm changing the tone, but I've really learned a lot listening to everyone else. But I want to speak also. So I have this to say about the chapter 46, Holy Instructions for Thy Children. When speaking on the soul, the soil, the parent is the soil. They must know thyself with confidence in order to germinate the seed. That then to know when it's able to be set outside to harden. Because the seedling must be hardened before it's put into the soil. It may sound a little weird, but I'm into agriculture and I've grown a few things, so I'll try to equate it together and cultivate a good harvest within their child. The prophet came for the young and not yet born. His intent was to strengthen the mind to the point of non-penetration. It would be most successful with the young and the not yet born. It is hard to teach an old dog new tricks. The highest quality of soil is grade 1. And I believe the question was asked, what's your quality of soil? When I thought about it, I said to myself, my quality of soil was grade 2. But my children's fathers were grade 3 and 4. In my mind, it was not really worth my time, but I had no regrets because my children are beautiful. I believe without the structure that we needed is the reason why our soils couldn't get to grade 1. We were not educated correctly. We were designed for destruction, and all the worst things that could have happened happened. But now that I'm learning the way that I should be, I want to instill it
into my grown children as well as my grandchildren. So hopefully their souls will become grade 1, and they would go ahead and prosper and become the people that they should be. Gratitude for letting me speak.
Islamism, man, you didn't change the culture on nothing, Queen. You brought it home. That's powerful. We know you got a green thumb. Islamism without the schism. That's what I'm talking about. And notice now, when we go into the grand drawing, you know, that is what you call the same thing that was demonstrated in Ayat 1. Consider thou art apparent, the importance of thy trust. It says the being thou hast produced, it is thy duty to support. So ain't nothing wrong with that. You had a whole government here too that's going to aid and assist you in that support, goddess and queen. With all these lessons, everything the prophet brought and everything he taught. See, it ain't strange though on another level when we say holy instruction for thy children. You know, this also goes to a grand expression of even the great God Allah, as we are his children. We are children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother have given us suck. You see? And you already know what's said after that. So when we talk about the soil is thine own, this is our land. You see? We already know our soul represents the soil, but we have been given a title to our vast estate. Let it not want cultivation. It belongs to us. So what you gonna just let it just do what it do for? Let all type of burners, thistles, and birds and weeds and everything just grow up in the demonstration. You know, that's a powerful demonstration. So the seed which thou sowest, that also shall thou reap. If you plant in it, it will grow. You know, like they used to say, if you build it, they will come. If you drop that seed, they're going to grow. We give honors to you, goddess and queen, for that measure. This is a powerful demonstration, Moorish kin. Lords of the plane of soul and lords of the plane of things made manifest. A title to a vast estate, the Khalifa. Second only is to the great God. Ooh-wee. Well, all right. Is there any other more who would like to bring forth their measure? Don't get scared now. These Moors is they got them scimitars drawn. Who else wants some? Is there any other more who would like to come forth and exercise their fire? Any other time they want to talk? Oh, there you go. The brother Tehudi. Islam, grand man.
Islam. That's what Sister Grand Sheik. Islam family. I am Dr. Akula Real Jehudi Bey, North Carolina Consulate. First, let me rise and give all praise to Mighty God Allah. Give honors to a holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali. Give honors to Moorish American government, its officials, Act 1. We give honors to our flag, seal, and emblem. We give honors to all Moorish Americans here, there, and everywhere. Islam Grand Class of Dr. Shaheed. At the moment, we have some storms running around, circling the area. So I'm going to be brief. First off, I want to give honors to all those that spoke before me and honors to those who speak after me. I especially want to give honors to the goddess Renee Randall. Renee Randall. This goddess, she's new to the government, but more, she's been given some powerful measures. And it's just, I praise Allah for sending her home to her own government, our own government. So welcome home again, goddess, and we love you. Islam. Dr. Shaheed, another powerful class, boots on the ground, standing firm. who we come around, who we meet. We had a neighbor come in earlier today, and we mentioned the guy that Saket mentioned. It was today, right? Yesterday, it was Saket mentioned that we were on a conference call, and we were, we moored. She had no idea what that was. So Saket, she planted that seed. And I'm sure that Allah will bring her back for more information. So there's so much going on around us, family, where our people are so misinformed and miseducated and misdirected away from who they really are. It's a sad state of affairs when our people are supporting their own destruction, supporting their own enslavement. We know that for hundreds of years, these Europeans has taken everything from us that was ordained from our great God Allah. But we have no excuses anymore. We have the Moorish American government. We have our own prophet. We have all the information we need to free ourselves. And there's no excuse. The soil is fertile. I've seen so many times Dr. Shaheed swinging that scimitar of truth on different platforms and right here on these conference calls. I've seen the chairman and the sheik swinging those scimitars of truth, penetrating our hearts and our minds with this knowledge of self, who we are. And we've grown so much over the years being home in this Moorish American government. I praise Allah for granting us the ability to be here, to be able to witness this together, to be able to come into the knowledge of ourselves together. I give honors to you and all the Moors who continually come on these conference calls and drop these pearls of wisdom and love. It touches me so much to know that my family, my Moorish American family, are the only ones on the front line right now, giving this knowledge, kicking down doors of ignorance, kicking down doors of mental slavery, and giving us and planting these seeds. I give so much honors to you, Dr. Shaheed, for all that you do, all that you will continue to do. We stand next to mighty giants. We will continue to stand with you on this journey. And I have so much, the international legal personality that you mentioned, I'm very interested in that. And there's ones that have running around here claiming to be something that they're not. We have a couple new Moors that came in, and in the conversation they told us that, they were involved with some Temple Moors who had charged them, was it $600 for some paperwork. Or wanted to charge them $600 for paperwork, but they didn't go through with it. One of the first things that the Moors asked us was, well, what do we need to do to get some paper or some identity cards but to register in the Moorish American government, just be yourself. We proclaim who we are, by just being who we are and carrying these principles. Praise Allah and honor to the Prophet for giving us these principles. Principles that the world is crying for. Honest to you, family, for being on the front lines in this demonstration. So, honest to you, Dr. Shahi, for this class. We love you. Peace and love, family.
Islam.
Islam.
Gratitude, Jehudi, we give honors to you, General. That's a powerful measure. See, a lot of people don't know there's a difference between what we call acquisition of territory and squatting on somebody's land. See, Negroes, black people, and colored people, you know, they are the ones that get labeled squatters. But when you talk about acquisition of territory, remember back in the days, you hear a lot about the people marching, you know, from one place to another, Georgia to Mississippi, or wherever they walk from. You know, had our people mind been in the right place, instead of sitting in somebody's restaurant, if they would have been walking to a piece of land and sitting on that land as a whole, and the world over was bearing witness to this, you know, our people would be further along, because they would have been claiming the land. They wouldn't have to been boycotting and, you know, sitting in and, you know, protesting. You know, all they had to do is go simply sit down and occupy the land, just like they were occupying businesses. But by ones going in and occupying somebody's business, and ones thinking that this was doing something, this was actually really promoting, you know, the European as the landowner. Because you asking him for something. You see? You asking him for something. You basically put him in a position like he run the house. Because that's what NBCs do. But if you a real nation of people, you occupy the land instead of trying to go and overthrow the man, so to speak. You know, then you had a whole demonstration. Look up acquisition of territory. We ain't talking about somebody going just putting no flag in no ground, talking about this belong to me. It don't work like that. You see? It was an old-fashioned way of acquiring territory, you know, because we know that discovery does not give full title, or what they call incoherent title, right? The example had to do with, in the past, if an explorer had found an island that no one had been to before, that explorer could claim that island for their state, but their claim would not give them title, which is why really, in all actuality, you know, the United States can't claim the United States is theirs, but it says, but their claim would not give them title. The state would have to perfect the title with some form of occupation. So if you busy protesting and talking about, you know, I'm gonna sit at the front of the bus instead of the back of the bus, you acknowledging somebody else's assumable jurisdiction over you. This is why we say you can't do it as no NBC. By the very virtue of you talking about y'all gonna give me some you letting it be known you powerless. Because once you become one who is holding in due course, if you come into a state of ownership, being who you are, all that come with it anyway. That's all a part of the package. All you got to do is, that's what I'm talking about. Instead of gathering up in a Walmart parking lot with clipboards, talking about, do you want to vote, you know, for the legalization of marijuana? Are you voting this year? Instead of doing all of that right there, if our people will muster up the unanimous will as a whole, instead of going, you know how they like to do during the time of George Floyd protests, they go and sit down in the road. They did it in every city, block the road. No, what if everybody went on a mass exodus to a particular place in the land and occupied the land. It's like when our chairman talked to us about the class action lawsuit. A lot of Moors got that twisted. You cannot do anything without a unanimous will, without being a nation. That's what it boiled down to. That's why we say in strength, there's numbers. Family, we getting it to you right now. We telling you what need to be done. And that's the problem. That's why they ask, well, is there unanimous will among your people to be free? Because if you got some people out here fighting you and they confuse you with the squatters, now that's where the problem come in, because you only occupying what belong to you anyway. But this is all of us as a whole. We ain't talking about a little clique over here, the rise of the Moors over there, the Republic over there, you know, this allodial government over. No. Man, everybody want to be a nation until it's time to be a nation, though. You know, and even when it comes to, you know, dealing with this, we have to come into a state of mind where we are ready and we are mature enough. Because there is no, and I want to say this again, there is no international personality, family. No international legal personality in being a Negro, Black, or colored person. Pardon self. Anybody that tell us this or act like that right there, well, we ain't even got to say what it is. We know how it go. Get it. And then next thing you know, you in the news somewhere. Islam. Who is that cutting in? Why? Who that? Islam. Are you there?
Islam, man, I didn't mean to cut you off, but please forgive me just a moment there.
Islam. Well, you here now, so come on up in here.
Islam, man. I won't be too long. Pardon yourself, family. I'm Muhammad Bey. I'll be excused. Let me raise my windows because I'm Muhammad work and went to the background noise. Islam, Muhammad Bey. From the South Carolina Constitution, we rise and praise our Father God, Allah, who is the best known ranger of all things. I want to give the highest honors to His holy prophet, our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I want to give honors to our Moorish American government, our Moorish American nation, and absolutely everything Moorish. I want to give honors to you, national currency, for standing firm, always standing firm and peaceful with love in the face of adversity. You know, I want to give honors to all those that spoke before me and all those that spoke after me. I want to give honors to everything, Moorish. Not going to be too long. You know, listening to the presentation, the comments, you know, the measures that were brought forth by the Moorish king, I just want to make two profound statements. One being made by our beloved prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and another one being made by the one who prepared the way for them, which was Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, I came to save you, talking about us as a people, from that state of mental slavery that I found you in. Now, the reason why he said that, folks, people, is because it's a fact that after 400 plus years of being under the Eurocentric acculturation and indoctrination, we are literally out of our minds, which means we're not our true selves. Marcus Mosiah Garvey, in his book, and while I'm at that, many don't know that Prophet Noble Drew Ali and Marcus Mosiah Garvey were the best of friends. In fact, it was Prophet Noble Drew Ali, right, that had Marcus Garvey released from prison. And that was Prophet Noble Drew Ali's sitting next to Marcus Garvey, that grand picture that everybody knows about with it in the parade in downtown Manhattan. Okay, so Marcus Messiah Garvey said in his book, Message to the People, listen carefully. He said, no race is free until they have a strong nation and government of their own, and a system of society of their own. So what we, in our love for our people, the Moorish American government is here. No matter what we think we are Moors, family. Google George Washington's statement about the Moors. The Moorish American government is here. It's your government. We have everything that we need to free ourselves, to save ourselves as a nation of people. All we have to do is take it and save ourselves. So this is the problem. The identity crisis is the reason why we have a problem unified. That's why all other nations of people, they can come here to this land. And because the Mexicans, who many of us are wrongly upset with, but they have a free national name, Mexican, that binds and joins them all together, regardless of what tribe, which clan that they come from. A nation is an extended family. And that's who we are. And until we come together under our true one free national name as Moorish American, we will continue to be divided. And the enemy, our lifelong enemy, will continue to do the things that they do now and have done in the past. So, as we would say, I'll end it with this. This is the new ark in this new era of time. This is the ark of salvation. This Moorish American government and its nation. And we're calling out with a loud voice of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Come on, family. Come home. Come out of this system, this mindset. That Negro mindset, that colored folk mindset, that black folks mindset, that African American, Afro American, all of that hasn't gotten us anything. We got to unite. And that's all I want to say. Islam, come home to your Moorish American government. www.moorishamericangovernment.land. Islam and gratitude, grand man. Thanks for letting me share. Grand class.
Islam, gratitude for the measure. And the key, as we emphasized early, occupied territory. When you speak of Americas, you're talking about the territories. You're talking about the adjoining islands and everything that it is a part of it, right? So under international law, and remember, this is what we have to recall, the Negro, so-called Negro, black man, and colored man does not have an international legal personality to occupy nothing because they represent property. Property has no international legal personality. You see? So what do you do in this occupation? It has to reflect the nature of the territory that you claim. In other words, if you are in occupied Moorish America, the Americas of the Moors, then what? Your occupation has to reflect the nature of the territory, Moorish America. You got to be a Moorish American in order to occupy the territory. You see, and there are examples that are given, that one has to control law and order in, a busy population. If you got a whole bunch of people, you got to be able to regulate transportation in a system and need to deal with the ingress and egress of people in and out of the territory. In other words, you got to be able to bring forth passports so that people can travel freely. We did that, but they didn't do nothing but try to give it back to the European. European old man Gary Davis, one European that went out there to establish the World Service Authority. One European. I'm telling you, family, if our people right now, no guns involved, were to come forth in every state and proclaim themselves as Moorish America, and occupy, this is special territory, that will cause the international families to accept that, all right, they got a unanimous will now. Now it's time for us to come forth. It will hit the medias. And that's what's going to let the occupation be known. You see? I'm just speaking in general. Marcus Garvey said this in his drawing on Know Thyself. Since the brother brought Garvey, I Harbinger up. Listen to what he said. Listen to this now. It says, for man to know, and this is man, know thyself. For man to know himself is for him to feel that for him there is no human master. For him in nature, right, is his servant, and whatsoever he wills in nature, that shall be his reward. Now we talking about the nature of territory and occupation, right? It says if he wills to be a pygmy or a serf or a slave, that shall he be. If he wills to be a real man in possession of the things common to man, then he shall own his own sovereign or be his own sovereign. It says when man fails to grasp his authority, he sinks to the level of the lower animals, and whatsoever the real man bids him to do, even if it were of lower animals, that much shall he do. If he says go, he goes. If he says come, he comes. By this command, he performs the functions of life, even as by a similar command, the mule, the horse, the cow performs the will of their masters. For the last 400 years, the so-called Negro has been in a position of being commanded, even as the lower animals are controlled. Our race has been without a will, without a purpose of its own, for all this length of time. Because of that, we have developed few men who are able to understand the strenuousness of the age in which we live. Where can we find in this race of ours real men? Men of character, men of purpose, men of confidence, men of faith, men who really know themselves. I have come across so many weaklings who profess to be leaders. In the test, I have found them but the slaves of a nobler class. They perform the will of their masters without question. To me, man has no master but God. Man in his authority is a sovereign Lord. There you go, Lord of the plain soul, Lord of the plain thing made manifest. As for the individual man, so of the individual race. This feeling makes man so courageous, so bold, as to make it impossible for his brother to intrude upon his rights. So few of us can understand what it takes to make a man. The man who will never say die. The man who will never give up. The man who will never depend upon others to do for him what he ought to do for himself. The man who will not blame God, who will not blame nature, who will not blame fate for his condition, but the man who will go out and make conditions to suit himself. Oh, how disgusting life becomes when on every hand you hear people who bear your image, who bear your resemblance, telling you that they cannot make it, that fate is against them, that they cannot get a chance. If 400 million so-called Negroes can only get to know themselves, to know that in them is a sovereign power, is an authority that is absolute, then in the next 24 hours, we would have a new race, we would have a new nation, an empire resurrected, not from the will of others to see us rise, but from our own determination to rise, irrespective of the world, what the world thinks. Now, if that ain't Moorish occupation, I don't know what to say. Know thyself, and know thy God. So if you create the condition, be able to govern it. We give honors to you, Moorish kin. Any other Moor that would like to come forth and give their portion of the understanding?
Islam, Grandman.
Islam, goddess.
Islam, gratitude. I am the National Grand Secretary of the state of Indiana, Dr. Sai Nansanu Heshru El, and I rise giving perfect praises to our Father God Allah and the highest honors to our Holy Prophet El Haj Sharif Abdul Ali, honors to our theocratic Moorish American government, honors to all of Act 1, honors to our Grand National Seal, our Grand National Emblem, and our Grand National Flag, the Moorish flag. And honors to this Grand Moorish Perspective class, National Assistant Grand Chief, Dr. Shalom Mutia Moheja Shefsuel. I concur with all of our Moorish kin who have previously spoken, and I would just like to add, coming out of chapter 46, Holy Instructions for Thy Children, Ayat 7, the soil is thy own, let it not want cultivation. The seed which thou sowest, that also shalt thou reap. Islam is a grand subject matter. I love how you spoken so eloquently, and you mentioned about family earlier, and this ayat kind of hits close to home, being that my oldest is now traveled and went to his other family who are unconscious Moorish Americans. And I've been teaching him these sacred teachings, and we've been a part of the government now for going on 4 years. And I started giving him the maximum of these truths at the end of age 7. And now it's approaching that he's almost 12, and he's being tested as we speak. And it's just such a blessing to see that everything that I have been pouring into him, he's now reflecting it there with his other family, to the point where we had very strict dietary laws. And now that he's away from home and learning his way about with his other family, he still practices the same teachings that my husband and I have installed in him, and he is being that shining light, educating them about their nationality, whether they want to hear it or not. He's just shining, and it's just it fills me up with so much joy to know that I have put in him something that no one can take out of him, and the fact that we as a family did this, and we're continually teaching our children the truth about who they are and how to move about in this matrix, and how to extend themselves beyond the physical manifest of what everyone, or I'm going to say the unconscious, choose to do. And it just fills me up with joy to know that even though he's away from home, he's still home. And I just want to say gratitude to all of our Moorish kin. I look forward to continuing to teach our little ones as well, because his spirit is so eager to learn these high and divine lessons. And I know Allah has chosen us to be the one to teach them. And Allah has also given us this beautiful Moorish American family and our Moorish American government, and a home that we can always come to recharge and to share our light and be the message that we bring. Islam and peace.
And Islam and peace to you as well, goddess and queen. Man, we give honors to you for all that you do, all that you've done, and all that you will continuously do. You and the whole tribe. We talking about the exhuming of a nation. So I mean, this is a powerful demonstration right here, family. Remember, the purpose of exhuming a nation or exhumation in regards to dealing with a particular body has to do with, some newfound evidence. They told you that we was just a people, that had been brought here during the time and enslaved, and and that was it. And we was freed in 1865, and we heard a whole lot of things, right? But what they didn't tell you is what really happened on how we were denationalized. And that's a crime against humanity, family. If somebody denationalized you, they took your culture away. They took everything it is, the very name that attached you to this land. And it was necessary in order for them to do that, in order that they may become occupiers of the land. They had to get you out the way. But now, they don't have to get our people out the way, because our people are removing themselves. And that's what we keep trying to tell them. They think we trying to push religion on them when we say we Moorish American Muslims. And we keep telling them, family, this thing go deeper than being religious. We have a divine creed, of course, but this has everything to do, with us basically attaching ourselves to the land that already belonged to us. And our people don't even want it, because they think that basically a description, of what somebody else called us is more powerful than the name that actually attached us to this land. And we demonstrated it, over and over again, on letting our people know who the Moorish American Muslims are. Letting our people know, how we are the true owners of the territory. In fact, you see? So what I want to do, we actually go into our officials, but I want to go into the Book of Fire, and I want to read something. I want to give honors to my Grand National Chairman, man, for the exhuming of a nation, man, for the Book of Fire, because he didn't leave no stone unturned. You see? And I got a little measure I want to bring forth right here. And then we're going to open this measure up as for our officials. So let me do this right here real quick. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to share this screen, and we're going to go from there. I just want to make sure, because I got a lot of things jumping all over the place. I want to make sure I got some stability over here. And we actually dropped. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share the screen real quick. Want to give honors too to our family out there, the goddesses and the queens, Sister Dulcinea. Important conversation, Sister Niami, we give honors to you. Our family, Donato Basco, hailing all the way from the United Kingdom. Honors to your family for your support. Charles Warrior, Darvis Baylock, Sister Janet Wooten Bay. We give honors to all of you, family. We're going to always acknowledge our family. We ain't going to act like you ain't there. We see you, and we honor your talents. Man, when we bring all those talents together under one roof, Rome in trouble. All right. So let me see. We sharing the screen right now, and I want to start right here in the Book of Fire. We're going to actually go to this portion here, a clean and pure nation. And I want y'all to follow me in this here. Let me sit this here and make sure I can get, okay, there we go. Yeah, that's all right there. So it states, a clean and pure nation. We as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe. Neither serve the gods of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 48, Verse 6, ayat 6, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. This ayat and verse from Prophet Noble Drew Ali's Holy Quran's end of time and fulfillment of prophecies is among the most misunderstood passages of what Moorish divine and national movement is dedicated to. Right? First of all, the issues of not desiring to amalgamate or marry into the pale-skinned nations of Europe is not geared toward individual Moorish American citizens. The Prophet clearly directs these instructions to we as a clean and pure nation. When the Moorish Americans come to the realization that they are indeed a nation, bearing one free national name, then they will comprehend those things pertaining to nations. Members of the MSTA, Moorish Science Temple of America, have misused this law to discredit members of separate interracial families formed prior to knowing themselves as Moorish Americans. Nowhere in all his teachings has the Savior spoken hateful toward the European people or the American in the 1920s and received the Bay and El tribal names. Of course, they had to proclaim their own nationality, as we were teaching our people theirs, according to Acts 6. In essence, what he did reveal was the church, foundation of Roman government and Christianity, European, Freemasonry, and religion were prepared for them by their forefathers for their earthly salvation. They are right and just for the European nations because it conforms to their nature. These gods were forced upon their slaves during the period of slavery, but they are gods to satisfy the wants of Europe. See religion. Those times have ended and will be no more. Revelation chapter 10. Now the Moorish Americans, as a clean and pure nation, will not serve the gods of, neither amalgamate into the pale-skinned nations, but will return to the first religious creed and what our forefathers have prepared for us. The root of the Holy Prophet's subject here is the word nation, being described as a, meaning single, one distinguishable among others of its kind. Clean and pure are adjectives which describes the noun nation. It must be remembered that the NBC, Negro Black Colored by design of their Western makers, can never become a nation or receive its protections, i.e. reparations or none of that, right? And benefits and prosperity. There is nothing sinful or criminal in the acts of accepting what is rightfully one's own. Freedom is the sole expression of any living manifest within its true nature. Needful to say, blacks have knocked at every European door of law looking for equality, civil rights, the Lord God Yehoshua rights, voting rights, human rights, affirmative action, appointed electoral offices without representation, etc., only to have it timely shut in their face. Damn. 400 years, 1406 to 2006, of hearing and repeated, no, this is mine, from the gentlemen, Masonic rich presidencies, Supreme Court justices, pulpits, and KKK, one just might get the message of unwantedness. Or at least, maybe perhaps they simply do not like their victims. Or at least a hint read from the European Society sign posted nationwide exclaiming, NBC have no rights we are bound to respect. The true legal status of Negroes revealed by Chief Justice Taney in the Dred Scott decision of 1857 can never be overturned. The immutable facts were sustained which show blacks and Negroes were never designed to be a nation or be recognized a people. Most Europeans are just too ashamed to tell the truth of Hiram Abiff. Their man-made Negro Masons do not really want to know the truth about themselves as to why they are the only people on the planet that remain slaves, whether manumitted or not. But it seemed to be okay. They are happy and free to be themselves unnaturally, like a mule that chases the carrots affixed in front of it, not understanding the food is not for it, but about it. The animal stubbornly pulls the alien load hitched to itself. Like so, the nationless peoples in America seeks rights affixed by the Europeans for Europeans, while not understanding they are hauling the manure of dead slave labels attached to them by the United States, Negro, black, and color. Surely, it should not take a genius, God, or prophet to interpret the words of President Lincoln when he said they freed slaves would never be free under this government. Actually, the more blacks tried to become the ideal United States citizen, the further away they are from reduced from being themselves a nation. When Noble Drew Ali declared the Moorish Americans were citizens of the USA, he meant we lived the life of a holistic government under the very first religious creed, unlimited self-administration. Our fathers taught the foundation of a national education is Sutanathi, man, know thyself, the knowledge of self. Far too many Moors have been misled to believe according to their nationality and identification card. The Holy Prophet said we are Moorish Americans were citizens of the United States of America. Truth is, Noble Drew Ali truly fulfill the duty of the prophet. It says, see chapter MST of A. Throughout this special chapter, the divine and ancient origin could never declare anything so contradictory. What is his nationality? What is your nationality? To make citizens the very iron hand oppression that enslaved us as a people would be diabolically opposed to our salvation. Rebirth of a new nation is revealed to be the long promised people, the Moorish Americans. The character of this nation is embodied in the description of a clean and pure, for the first time in ages, the nations of the earth. It says, will come to know a clean and pure nation. Noble Drew Ali included himself when he said, we as a clean and pure nation. Yeah, right. A whole nation of clean and pure people on this earth, in America, made it clear, we're losing them again. Come and get the author is done on this side. The basement is the top floor, his elevator. It is finished. Bear with me, dear readers, because Allah's prophet is right, and he brought the Moorish everything it takes to save a nation. This book is to help them take everything so they can save themselves. So the chairman, he gave a whole bunch of measures on who the clean and the pure are. He said the Moorish Americans are the clean and pure nation have been prophesied in all holy scriptures, prayed for by every nation who has ever had poor and oppressed people. They are the 144,000 prophesied. They are the return of the ancient ones. They are the rock hewed out of the mountain. They hold within themselves the key to civilization. They know the straight way through the third eye to their God. They are the lamb that can lay down with the lion. They are the one to be taken up on an incline. They are the ones to realign the earth to this divine correctness. They will restore peace on earth and God's will to men. They are the time travelers called angels. A dove is symbolic of peace, so a lamb is a representative of purity. That which is pure is expressed in many ways. The religious name of Islam derived its perfectness from purity. One can see lamb in Islam. All Eastern words of peace carry the symbolic humbleness of the lamb. Salam, shalom, assalam, etc. People of faith the world over pray for the day when the vegetarian lamb can be in harmony with the lamb-eating lion. They pray for the peace, lamb, on earth as it is in the Moor's heart, heaven. The holy teachings of Yahushua through Drew Ali is to the common people to redeem them from under the great pressure of the hands of the unjust, that the lion and the lamb may lay down together, and neither would be harmed when the morning came. The lamb is the poor people. The lion is the rulers and the rich. And through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, all men are one and equal to seek their own destiny and worship under their own vine and fig tree after the principles of the holy and divine laws of their forefathers. Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 46, ayahs 5 through 8. So that being said, Moorish King, want to give honors to everybody who came forth to give their measure. You know, so when we talk about teaching the young and not yet born, the children, the babies, the future, the third and fourth generation, that Circle 7 nation, they represent the Grand National Seal, Moorish American nation since 1865. So Islam, let us call forth our officials. And we're going to start by calling on our Moorish goddess and queen and Assistant Grand National Secretary of the State of Moorish America. Are you there, Sister Alcetta Moonell? Well, Islamism, we know our sister is about the business of our Father God Allah, Islamism. Gratitude. Well, let us call forth our Grand National Mufti, Dr. Khonshu Ma'ak Herubey. Islam, you there, Grand Man?
Islam.
Islamism without the schism, that's Aliism.
Islam. That's Islamism. Allahism. Islamism. We rise giving all thanksgiving, adoration, worship, and praise to our Father God, Allah, the great God of the universe, the most beneficent and the most wise. And we give the highest honors that we can give to his prophet, our prophet, the last prophet in these days and in these times, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali, the savior of humanity. We give honor to his forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and we give honor to his government. Our government, the Moorish American government, the government in which we live, according to Act 6. We give honor to the officials of this said government, our divine ministers and swift angels, our mufti, our royal council, our secretaries. We give honor to our citizens, the Moorish Americans. We give honor to our flag, our divine constitution and bylaws, our Holy Quran, our Grand National Seal and Grand National Emblem, our Book of Fire, the Exhuman of a Nation. We give honor to everything that is Moorish. We give a special high honor to you, National Sister Grand Sheikh, bringing forth this grand Moorish perspective this evening. Dr. Shadula Miti Ameti Shepsuel, just a grand class full of angel food. We give honors to all of our Moorish kin who have spoken before us, to our Moorish kin that will speak after us. We give honors to you, angels. We continue to give the honors where honors are due and honor not all true and divine prophets. And we give honor to our ancestors as they have come before us, leading the way, and we are them today without doubt or contradiction, because no one has the power to change man from his descent nature. Praise the Lord for that, and that's why it's very important that, as the lesson talks about today, making sure that, the soil does not want for the cultivation. That we look after what it is that we are here to have our dominion over. Being the Lord of the plane of soul and the Lord of plane things may manifest. It's very important that, as has been spoken this evening, that we are preparing the way for our children and their children and their children's children, because we come back. We are our forefathers and foremothers, without a doubt or contradiction. We come back through the bloodlines. So why the bloodlines is so important. If you don't believe, look at the enemy. With these Europeans, they said that 13 bloodlines rule the whole world. If it wasn't important, why would they do it like that? They understand the importance of it, and they understand the importance of cultivating a certain mind state, and these ones that's in that bloodline, so that they continue their rulership. And it's the same way that we have to, in the sense of, we have to teach our children, where their dominion is, where their rulership is, how to keep it generations to come. And that comes right here in our theocratic government by letting one know that first grand question is who made you? And when we tie ourselves back into divinity, then we cease to find ourselves caught up in the Maya or the illusion of the material world. But that doesn't mean that we neglect the fact that this is a part of where we learn our lessons, where all our lessons must be learned on the plane of soul and the plane of things may manifest. So we can't neglect, even though we know that we are the spiritual being, can't neglect the physical construct. And we must connect ourselves, as our prophet said, with the families of nations, because that's where the dominion over the planet comes from, in the dividing of the families of nations. The nations, not the groups, not the corporations, not the grand philosophized ideal, but the nation. And we know that we are a nation ever since 1865 of a Moorish descent that's separated from European colonizers. That we don't have a common history and ancestry and language and way of doing things as the Europeans that have come over here. So even according to the definitions of a nation, we could never be a nation with these Europeans because we don't bear that same foundation. We don't bear the same language, history, culture, or way of doing things. And that's part of being a nation. And so as we see more clearly, as we get to taking our place in the affairs of men, being about our Father's work, being about the uplifting of us as a nation of people, as we do these things, we see clearly the reason why we have to have our own. The reason why self-determination, as been said, is so important. As that unified thought pattern, the secessionist ideal of getting away from ones whose whole paradigm is about our enslavement and free labor. Once we get away from that, then we can flourish. We can benefit. I was watching a clip on YouTube. This African brother was talking about the only hope they had was us here in the West. Of course, he said African Americans, but we know, the true essence of who we are. Because he said he was just talking about how they have nowhere to take it. How everybody else comes to Africa and takes it back to their nation, but doesn't leave anything. He said the only hope we got is them because they have nowhere to take. They have no land to take our resources back to. And that's a very profound statement when one can see plainly from other nations can see that you're a nationalist, that you're people with no home, no land, nothing to be able to plunder from the other nations. That the only thing that you can do is consume and give yourself to these other nations. And that, like I said, it's so clear for other nations that we have to start looking at it clearly that we have to have our own place, our own way of being, our own way of doing things, our own reputation as far as how we're going to proceed in our communications and our treaties, and other business with the nations of the earth, so that they can see the benefit in not only doing business with us, but coming into the mind state that the only way that peace is going to be found is by these lessons that we have being taught internationally to all people, because Moorish America. Everything that's built has the ceremony, the groundbreaking ceremony, is a part of the ritual to bring forth not only good fortune, but to show to the universe in the thought pattern of magnetism, law of attraction, that it is said it is being done and it's going to be created. Or the creation's already there, it's just coming into manifest. So let us continue to break ground in the hearts and minds of our people, and let them know that nationality is the order of the day. That this is part of what makes us a whole. This is part of the 3/5, or the 5/5, I should say, that makes a man whole. Nationality, divine creed. So gratitude for class this evening, and gratitude to you, Moorish America, for being here with us and giving us your time, attention, and respect. Love you. Islam and peace.
And we love you too, Grand Man, in the tribe as well. Islamism. Well, all right. Well, let us call forth our Grand National Secretary of the State, Sister Hatshepsut Rakat Ma'at Anpu, Tutankhamun Bey. Islam, you there, Goddess and Queen?
Close to the thought. Gratitude.
Islamism. Gratitude.
Powerful measure. Gratitude. Islam Moorish-kin. First of all, I want to rise, giving all praises to our Father God Allah, giving honor to our Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the last prophet in these days and times, giving honor to our Moorish American government, all of our officials, staff, with angels, muftis, divine ministers, most especially our Moorish-kin. Giving honor to all those Moors that spoke before me, all those Moors that will speak after me. Giving a special honor to our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, Dr. Shadwa Menti Al-Mohamed Sheikh Durrell, for opening our meeting according to law, and also for our Grand Moorish Perspectives class this evening. Giving honor to our National Grand Secretary, State of Indiana, Dr. Sayanati New Hesaru L, for taking registration and reading our subject chapter for the week. Giving honor to our panel and our family online, to all of our Moorish kin. It's been a Grand Moorish Perspectives class, subject matter being, the soil is thine own, let it not want cultivation. The seed which thou sowest, that also shall thou reap. And I tell you, Dr. Shahid definitely blew it out the water in so many degrees that you brought forth. And you can look at this special subject matter from so many levels, looking at it from the individual level, dealing with the study of the self, from the aspect of the family, from the aspect of the nations, and our responsibility in reference to the rest of the nations of the earth. What is the quality of your soul? And giving honor to the goddess that spoke in reference to the soul and the various grades and things of that nature. Powerful measure, as all of our Moorish kin brought forth. When I was looking at myself planting various things in the garden from last year, and noticing that when I was trying to grow kale, lettuce, and things of that nature, with some mealy bugs on there, little white things attached to the leaves, and you think you have a minute. Next thing you know, the leaves are darn near eating all the pieces, because you thought you had time to take care of those little things. So I'm saying that to say, dealing with our special character and what is my soul producing. The thing about it is the mealy bugs for me representing if I see that I'm having a negative thought or a lower, dealing with my lower self, and I don't take care of that and nip it in the bud right then and there, then it's going to lead to a grander scale of destructiveness within my own character. So this is why we have to learn that when we see these red flags or indicators within our own character aspect, we got to deal with it at that point in time and pull up and make sure that we're keeping it above the neck. Otherwise, we find ourselves like we can be so consumed with hatred or jealousy or envious, and it consumes the total mindset. Looking at it from the aspect of the soul, being symbolic of our spiritual growth or our transformation, the prophet speaks about the soul of soul, as you had stated. That's where we demonstrate the actions of the soul, which are being able to think, reason, understand, will, and remember. And also dealing with that seed, we recognize the fact that spirit man is that seed of the Creator, that great God Allah. So we come from a source of perfection.
many want to state that, well, one was born in sin. Well, if that's where your thought is, and that's how ones are going to demonstrate. So the cultivation aspect is you got to be able to prepare the soil for growth and development. So we got to purify our mindset. We have to recognize when we have these thoughts that keep us bound down or mindset locked down into those things where we just hung up in what we see with our carnal eye or what we see with our carnal ears and think that that's all there is to us. And nothing can be further from the truth. So being able to cultivate that energy within the cells, in different cultures, it's called the chi, or that energy force within. And I was also reflecting on the lesson that you brought forth in reference to the ILP. And it just brought me to mind when the prophet was speaking about if you can't act right, I'm paraphrasing, in the backyard, then how are you going to be able to take care of the responsibilities in the front yard? So if your character has not been founded in the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, if you're not demonstrating love divine, if you're not here to serve your people, to aid and assist your people, if you're looking at officials with cockeyedness, or an official brings forth a demonstration or an instruction, and they ain't telling me what to do. I'm going to do my own thing. Now, what makes you think that you are ready on an international scale when it comes down to deal with nation states, that you are going to follow protocol and not create some kind of international situation? See, this is why it's critical that we have our foundation built on a solid foundation, which is love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. These are the principles that we, as Moorish Americans, stand on, as opposed to building one's house on a sand, which can be blown away or swished away at any moment. So this is what occurs when it comes down to the level of the character. If you are not founded in the principles that the prophet has stated belongs to you, your people, and what we have to demonstrate as being children of the Creator, then how can you, if you can't take care of the smaller aspects, how can you expect to take care appropriately the grander aspect of being a nation? So we've got to get our house in order on an individual level. We can't pass it down to the children if we are not demonstrating it itself. Children watch your actions. You can speak all day long. Well, we're Moorish Americans. What does that mean when the mindset is still reflecting MDC thought patterns? So, we have got to recognize the fact we have no more time to play. The ball is in our court. What are we going to do? And before our National Assistant Grand Sheik had brought forth the question, I had to ask myself, what is my soul producing? And this is the question that we have to ask. Are we producing flowers? Are we making sure that we are pulling up the weeds within our own negative mindset? Or are we allowing these weeds to grow, take root, and, kill the flowers that are our individual talents that the Creator has left us with? So, grand class, grand measure, gratitude more for calling me forth. Peace and love.
In Islamism, we give honors to you, goddess and queen, for that grand draw, and praise be to Allah. You always put the icing on the angel food cake all the time. Well, speaking of angel food cake, and putting the icing on it, let us call forth our Grand National Chairman, Dr. Akin Acton Pert M. Heru, Tutankhamun Bey, author of the Book of Fire, Burning Up Falsehood, Root and Branch. You there, grand man? You got your pant leg rolled up. Islam.
Islamism without the schism. If you don't know it, don't think it. That's because you didn't know it. But all is well. You praise to Allah and the Prophet of Ali. Give much honor to Noble Ali for bringing us everything that it takes for us to save ourselves as a nation of people. That's why we got a divine constitution. We got our own national flag, on Grand National Seal and Grand National Emblem, everything that it takes for so that we have our own government, that we are our own free national, our nation. It's just a wonderful thing, and this is what we're going to do. Because more, look, whether, I don't know how you're going to look at this, but for the next 2 days, tomorrow, Sunday school, and also Mondays is our State of the Nation. And I'll be running both of those. So the thing about it is that get it right, get it ready, because we're going to assume our position as a free nation of people, our free national government, our grand national seal and emblem, flag, everything. And I'll see you tomorrow and the next day. Islamism without a schism. We love you. Peace.
Islamism without the schism. And we give honors to you, Chairman, for being here in this new era and time with us, because we all could have been in any particular cycle, age, but we just so happen to be in that last and final age where it's being ushered in, and we was the ones that our ancestors was waiting on. Everything they prayed for, everything they hoped for, we here now. We give honors to you for being the author of one of the greatest books to ever be written in this new era and time when it comes to our manumission. When the Europeans quote the Moors, they quote the Book of Fire. They quote the Exhuming of a Nation. I keep telling y'all better get y'all a copy. The chairman is here, live in real time. Get your copy of this book and his autograph in that particular work, family. This brother been on the manifest over 40 years and still counting. You see he ain't missed a beat. It's an honor to stand on the shoulders of a giant such as this grand man. So at this time, let us call forth our national grand sheik, speaking of giants and standing upon the shoulders of them. Islam, you there, grand sheik, Dr. Serapis Amin Rael? Islamism, grand man.
Grand demonstration. Sheik, we truly appreciate that food, that angel food that we ate this evening. Praise the Lord for you. And all the ones that aid, assisted, and gave their observation and comments. It's been a grand demonstration. And to our Father God Allah, we give Allah the praise. Oh, because we could be in a worse condition. Praise Allah that we're not. Honestly, with love, though, who gave it to us in degrees and asked us to, Lord, be yourself. Be yourself, study yourself. Dr. Number 2 Ali gave us the measures to be free. Thank you, Prophet. Honor to our Grand Mufti, Assistant Grand Mufti, Grand Mufti Court, Grand Minister, student ministers alike, Royal Council, citizens, sympathizers, and supporters. We give honors to you. Honors to everything that the Moors demonstrated according to Ali's divine and holy laws. This has been a grand demonstration. And having been in some of these areas and having the observation of the ones that have came and looked inside what they thought was a dead coffin, but the body's not there. The body's up and around, moving in the earth land, sheep. And this is what the chairman and other divine officials have given to the opposite bodies of Moors here in the Northwest election, and ask ones to pay attention to their sovereignty, stand up and be righteous. And this is what she was putting out there this evening. Praise the Lord for it, and all those who follow suit. This is a grand demonstration. Praise the Lord. I hereby inform all citizens they must end all radical, agitated speeches while at work in the homes or on the streets. We have peace and not destruction. Stop planting your cards to Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember your cards for your salvation. Raise your baby daughters will be a severe consequence. We have to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any member or group of members cause confusion, a whole malicious feelings towards the government or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by the prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, these one interpreting affairs, and return to the state where the prophet found you. This is a holy divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Jew Ali, and if the prophet is not right, the government is not right. The prophet therefore is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans to do their part in protecting the prophet and the government. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by order of prophet Noble Jew Ali. This divine warning is supreme laws now and will be enforced by the said government hereby. Islam, Islam, Islam. The Holy Covenant of the Asiatic nation. You are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the best of one mother has given you, son. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers of peace and happiness that dwell in thy father's house. And when you separate in the world, remember the relation that binds you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If our sisters in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of our Father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Islam, Islam, Islam. This means this close according to Act 2 of our divine constitution, and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Go in peace, Moors. Long live Moorish America. Peace.
Islam, long live Moorish America, Sheikh. Islam, Islam, Islam. We love you, Moors.
Grand demonstration, Dr. Shaheed. Grand demonstration. Grand class. We love you, Moors. Islam. Peace and love, family.
Great class, National Assistant Grand Sheikh Dr. Shaheed, sir. Great class. Love all you Moors, but don't forget to pay your dues.
Grand class.
Grand Sheikh Dr. Shaheed.
Dr. Shaheed, grand class.
Islam, we love you, Moors. And we
love you, Moors.
Good, Moors.
Love you, Lord.
Islam, we love you, Moors. And we give honors to all our Moors kin out there coming in too. The Moors in YouTube. Right. Welcome home. That's right. Give honors to our family out there in YouTube. Islam, Islamism. Honors to all of our family, the YouTube family and everybody. That's what I'm talking about. The best is yet to come, family. Everybody got a voice up in here.
Only gonna get better.
Oh yeah. That's right. Everybody got a voice up in here, including y'all, family. Our YouTube family.
That's right.
Our casa is y'all casa. Islam, we love you. All right. One love. Peace and love. Islam. All right.
Goodbye.
All right, Moors. Want to give honors to everybody out here, and just say gratitude for showing up. And it's all love, man. We're going to keep bringing this truth and keep uplifting fallen humanity because we here to bring the solution. We done heard a lot about the problem. We here to bring the solution now. So let us come together and mend, the broken wires and connect each other, so to speak, to a higher power and use our talents together. All of us, if we utilize our talents together, oh man, they in trouble. So what I'm going to do, in ending this measure, I'm going to end it with a grand vibration. we got to let it be known that we got Moorish ties to our family. And so we're going to end it with a good Moorish track as always to let our people reflect, you know, on what it is we saying. We get in the booth and give the people the truth too. You know, every way we can to give it to them, we going to give it to them. So let me let this demonstration vibrate right here, and all is well.
La Roche-Posay Amphilio Sunscreen.
When you separate in the world, remember the relation that binds you to love and unity. Prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. Moorish Cosa Nostra, industrious acts. I cracked the code of Da Vinci, these are actual facts. Angels and demons, Illuminati and Judas goats. Elite minds of our own who turn cutthroat. Espionage and betrayal, 30 pieces of silver. Merovingian bloodlines and Boulay House niggas. Who would have figured we'd be sleeping with the enemy? Let us rise and give honors to Nova Drew Ali. We used to say for I am you and you and me. Now the reapers your brother's keeper, he's the devil's seed. Cloud chasing in the seed, he abandoned the creed. Desire was his vice, but envy his disease. A fistful of dollars led him to his demise. Front page, it was tragic, a bloody homicide. What profits man if he gains the world but loses soul? Feel the wrath of Allah, he was struck sevenfold. Moorish ties, we span time 700 years. Principalities, world powers, diamond chandeliers, sheiks and emirs, black turbans and scimitars. Allah's will, we prevail as one under God. Moorish ties, we span time 700 years. Principalities, world powers, diamond chandeliers, sheiks and emirs, black turbans and scimitars. Allah's will, we prevail as one under God. The seat of power lacks dominion when sultans depart, but immortal virtues shall remain within the people's hearts. True successors are often overlooked and crucified. Sheikh Emilia did his best to exercise his fire. Opposition from all sides forced him underground. Exiled from his post, but loyal to his crown. He stood his ground, but no one man can defeat the mob. He transitioned in silent historic landmarks. We came as we are, and we are as we came. We came, saw, and we conquered. MAG shall remain. These are divine instructions. Let us unite the nations. Heavenly mandates, self-determination, treaties, consortiums, covenants, holy and divine. Social duties and obligations, proclamation signed. Theocratic, supreme laws, organic design. Creative fate, deliver justice in due time.
You raise the cowards, you raise the imbeciles, you raise the good for nothings. If you cannot do what other nations have done, what other races have done, then you had better die. Can we do it? We can do it. Because any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Let me say that again. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we decided to find a leadership of our own to make ourselves free men. Babylon did it. Assyria did it. France under Napoleon did it. Britain under William Pitt, Earl of Chatham did it. America under George Washington did it. Africa with 400 million black people can do it. If you cannot do it, if you are not prepared to do it, then you had better die.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Peace and love, family. Y'all already know what it is. Until the next time, we love you with love and divinity. Don't let nobody tell you nothing different. We love you for real. Peace and love. Uncle Ajet Sanev, Shemotepu Moorish Ken. Life, health, and prosperity be upon you all. The peace of the ancestors I give to you as an offering.